Hello Epic Gamers! In this video I'm going to show you how to set up teleporters in Arma. First off, I'm going to show you a very basic teleport script that you can just implement right away, and the rest of the video will be delving more deeper into different ways to use teleporters and also edit the scripts themselves. So to start off, we're going to need something to teleport from. We can, for example, use this whiteboard that I've conveniently set down. And let's say we want to teleport into this ruined building right here. Now we could do this using coordinates, but to make it even simpler, we're just going to plunk down an invisible helipad that you can find here in your helipads. Right here. And we're going to name this house. You can name it whatever you like, doesn't really matter, as long as you remember what you write down. Now, we're going to go into this whiteboard that we're going to use to teleport to that little house of ours, right here. And for the object variable name, we'll exchange that with house. And for the text, it can also be pretty much whatever you like. We can write teleport to house. There we go. And let's test it out. Alright, we load it in, and as we see, when I hover over the whiteboard, I get the teleport to house prompt. I can use my scroll wheel and select that, and bam, there we are. So that's a very simple basic teleporter. It's very easy to implement into your own games to easily get around the map. Now we're going to delve a bit more deeper into the code itself and some other ways to use it. So we're back in Eden. And I've selected the whiteboard to open the init of it. And let's break down what the different part of the script actually does. We have this, which just means the object, the whiteboard. Now, you can use this script on basically any object you like, but you will have to change it, which we'll get to that later. And addAction means that we add the action that we select on our scroll wheel to this object. And the action name is whatever you like. I can currently written teleport to house, but you can write whatever you like here pretty much. It's just what shows up. If you have multiple actions, for example, it's nice to keep them apart, because now you'll have two actions on your scroll wheel, and if both are teleport to house, it's kind of difficult. So this could be if you want to teleport to somewhere else, like a pier, for example, and you have another teleporter set up to the pier, like another invisible helipad named pier, then that will let you teleport to there. Now, player is of course the player, the person using it. This also works in multiplayer. It will teleport whoever is using the action. But it can also be other variable names. Let's say you have a script to move a large gate when you press a button. You can add this action to the button and then set this to be like the variable name of the gate. If you gate, for example. That's a cool gate. Let's say this fence gate is locked and you want to move it away. You can name it gate. Now this will teleport the gate instead to the house. Or other coordinates that you'd like. Then we have set position, and we need to get the position to set it to. Now here you could either use coordinates, or you could use down here. If you want to use a coordinate, it would do something like this, where you straight up have a set position and then to the coordinates you want to use. We also have something called setPosATL, which is what you want to use. There is a just normal setPos, but if you use that, you can't do elevated teleporter, which means that if I had the teleporter to be on top of this factory tunnel, instead you teleport to ground level here instead of on top, which you might want to do. So that's why we use getPosATL and not just getPos. You can also use setPosATL, that also works, should work at least, instead. And then of course house is the variable of whatever you want to teleport to. This can also not necessarily be an object, it can also be a player. So let's write Ben, for example, and we have this handy little fella right here, and let's name him Ben. Now, this could also be a player character. This could have been a player. We can make him a player in control. Here we go, player, or playable rather. All right, now that he's named Ben, let's go back to our whiteboard, and let's not teleport the gate there, because that wouldn't make any sense. Let's use player, go back to that, and let's test this out. Now let's say this was a multiplayer scenario. I just respawned, the Zeus is busy and doesn't have time to teleport me. What I can instead do then is get to this teleporter and use teleport to Ben, like that. Here we go. Hello, Ben. How are you doing? So that's a nice way. You can also set up, of course, multiple if you'd like. You can have multiple squads. If you have multiple squads, you can do Alpha Squad and one teleporter to Delta Squad, for example. And that would probably look something like this. And then, let's say we had another guy that was called Bob. We can have teleport to Ben Squad, and then teleport to Bob, like that. And then when you play your scenario, you can have Bob Squad use the Bob teleporter, and you can have Ben Squad use the Ben teleporter. Now, for this long line of text on the back here, now, if that wasn't there, you would be able to access this action from up to 50 meters away. So this basically sets the range of when this action is visible. Now, currently it's set to 2 meters, but if you have a larger object like this factory tunnel, for example, the center of the object is pretty far in and you won't be able to reach that. So you can up that in some objects to like 6 or 12 meters. You'd have to test this around a bit depending on what object you want to use for your teleporter. But for most smaller objects, 2 meters works just fine. Now, we've gone through teleportation to squad leaders, if you want to set up a squad leader teleport. Now, another very handy use of this is if you have a cave system somewhere on the map you want to teleport, like part of the operation is going to happen inside this little cave right here. You want your players to come out of this factory tunnel and shoot some baddies in here and then maybe head back out again. So we can use a lot of the same principles we already learned. We have set up a little invisible helipad on this side, and let's name this inside, because it's inside. You can name it whatever you like, but it's a nice way of keeping track at least. And then back to our little other factory tunnel here. We want another invisible helipad. Let's just copy this one, put it down here, call it outside, because it's outside. And here we go. Design action. Text, of course, enter cave, and when we teleport to the inside, now you'll also notice something new here, which is player set direction 180. Now normally, if this wasn't here, you would just teleport with the direction you're facing. Currently, you would be facing north, slightly northeast, which means that when you pop into this cave, you'll also be facing slightly northeast. So what setDir does, it sets the direction you're looking. As we can see, if I want to be looking this way when teleporting to the cave, I'd be looking directly south. So that would be 180. And as you can see here, in my little cave here, is that I've set it to be 180, and I've set the distance to be 12, because it's a very large object. Now, for comparison, let's set another factory tunnel, this time without setting the direction. Now, of course, we also want to get back out of our little tunnel here. So we have to go to this factory tunnel, and we can write exit, and of course outside, and then we want to have this double check that this is called outside. Here we are. This helipad is outside, and now if we go to test this, alright, we got our two cave entrances here. This one, of course, the one without any direction on it. And you see, we'll just be facing the wall again. Now, if we go into the other one, which is this one, enter cave, you'll see, bam! We can start blasting whoever's in here right away. And, we can also get out again. So that's how to make a nice cave teleport. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we can also teleport to specific coordinates. Now, it's a bit more finicky because you have to get the coordinates than just placing down a helipad, but it's possible, and for the sake of learning, I'll show you how. So we got this flagpole right here. Let's say we want to teleport to that. If you just scroll down to transformation of the object, we will find the position, so the X, Y, and Z coordinates of this object. And you have to copy that. I've done a little cheating here and already made this crate with these coordinates, and it will look something like this. Of course, we have the player direction. We don't necessarily need that. So, depending if you want that or not. And let's test that out. Alright, we're back in the game. And one thing you might have noticed with the previous script is that I didn't put any range restrictions on it. And now you'll see how that looks like. So yeah, it lets you access the object from pretty far away, which is kind of weird. But yeah, that's how that looks like. And yeah, let's just use this, and bam! We are now at the flagpole, as you can see. So that's how that works. And as you can see, I was looking that way as well, because I was looking that way when I used it. So if I used it from this direction, you'll see, bam, I'm looking this direction. Now, for the final thing I'm going to show you, which will also lead a bit into my next episode, is that there's a script to teleport into vehicles as well, which will allow you to do fun stuff like this. And as you can see now, I'm hiding under the car. And the car can, of course, drive off now, maybe drive into an enemy compound with me hidden underneath. If you want to learn how to do that, come watch the next episode. This has been Surround Us. Hope this was informative. See you later, guys.